Okay, I am going to talk to you not only about how to do leaves in the background, but at the same time, I want to make sure that you understand how this is going to work with your subject. So, your subject is already finished. Now you can come back and work on your background. So, for the leaves, again, all I do is pull up a visual, and we don't want to outline. Okay, absolutely no outlining. We definitely don't want to outline the border yet either. Okay, keep the border in pencil, and we can outline. We can always outline the border later. So for now, let's start with the leaf textures. And so typically, what happens with your leaves is you have these veins that come through, and then everything sprouts off from there. We do want to make sure we shade that. So my visual looks like that vein that comes in the center is actually lighter. And so I'm going to use the side of my pen, not using the top, but if I use the side of my pen, I can kind of shade it and draw that line at the same time. So I am almost putting the veins in of the leaf and shading it at the same time. A little bit goes a long way. We can always make it darker. And then there is that vein, like I said, is lighter in the center. So I'm going to go on the outside of it and leave a little bit showing. And leave that middle lighter. So again, you can work around areas to make them look darker and make them look lighter because your pen doesn't really change. And I got a little dark right here, so I'm just going to fade that away a little more. And that vein comes all the way up to the end. I also see, I don't want to outline the edge here, but there are darker edges. And so what I'm going to do is bring some of these areas of the leaves out. And I am going to almost round them a little bit. But again, I am looking at my visual and I'm seeing that the texture every so often gets a little darker. And notice that I'm turning my pen the way that my leaf is growing. I also have a visual of jungle leaves too because my theme is jungle. And so I'm going to turn this way so that I can turn my hand and be able to shade those markings. I'm kind of noticing on my visual that these dark marks are almost directly across from each other. So I'm making sure that I'm doing that with my leaf. And again, using the side of my pen. That way I'm not going to get too dark. And then what I'm going to do is almost do like a calligraphic line. So I do want to see the edge of my leaf here, but I don't want to outline it. And I want some of it to be a little darker and some of it a little lighter. I'm actually going to make the edge come down into one of these dark areas because the edge of the leaf even isn't just smooth. It kind of bends a little bit, I'm noticing. And so I'm going to use the edge of my pen and just make some of it a little darker. And again, do some calligraphic lines. So if I skip over a little bit, it doesn't look like it's unfinished. It actually just looks like it's a highlighted part of the leaf itself. And then this side I'm looking like it's a little darker. Again, all this is not only practicing your technique, but also a big thing is looking at your visual. Because you're just placing your darks and lights where they go. The change is the different media on how to get those there. And the whole trick too is just being fluid with it. Try not to be super perfect or it's not going to look good. Okay, you need to be able to be okay with having some of the scratchy look to it and the gesture lines a little bit. And then we need to make sure that your edges are crisp and clean, even though they might skip over a little bit. We like it skipping. Okay. And then I can tell that the stem actually comes down from that white area. So I can pull this down to make it look like it's coming out of like the tree branch or bark or something that's sitting down here. So this white vein comes down, and because I have it dark on both sides, I'm actually just going to kind of tap some stippling over just a little bit, getting a little dark because I'm using my pen tip upward. So I'm going to try to turn my pen and kind of come down towards the side a little bit here because I don't want it super black. I want just enough to get it there. Any objects that are behind each other, you need to decide which one is darker, which one is lighter. So like if I had another leaf back here, I would probably do a cast shadow behind that. Any images that are behind my my tiger or whatever your subject is should also make sure that you have cast shadows or darks or lights. So if it's really dark here, then maybe my subject behind that would be a little lighter, and that's fine too. Your whole background doesn't have to be dark because this is light. You can change it. Because it's lighter here, whatever I put behind it might be a little darker, and that actually will bring that edge out a little bit as well. Once this is dry really good, then you can erase it. So we don't want to smear it, but I want to erase it just because I want you to see where, um, and I did smear it a little bit because I didn't let it dry. But I wanted you to see here now that the pencil lines are erased. It is a little lighter here, lighter here. There's like no line here at all. Okay. No line here at all. But then there's a dark line. So because there's no line and then a dark line and then no line again, it actually creates that illusion that not only is it lighter there, but then we can see that our the edge of our object actually does finish out.